I don't need to tell you about the protests around Washington, D.C. or the protests in Israel. Many Israelis say that Prime Minister Netanyahu should not have accepted this invitation to speak today. Several senators and congressmen on both sides of the aisle boycotted it and said it was a political stunt to bolster his standing in Israel. Several congressmen said, I didn't feel like being a prop for Netanyahu. What's your reaction to that?
First of all, Elizabeth, thank you for having me. I think that it was a terrific speech, an important speech. And I don't think that there is, you said that there is many Israelis that don't want Netanyahu to come. I don't know their number, but I know that Israel is a democratic state. Benjamin Netanyahu is our prime minister. And he, as you know, got an invitation, bipartisan invitation. I think that it was the right thing to do, to come to the Congress, actually the biggest symbol of democracy, of the modern democracy, come and speak, not shout, not scream, to come, Elizabeth, with these, as you can see, the flags of Israel and United States, and not Hezbollah flags and not ISIS flags, that actually they are not pro-Palestinians protesters, they are pro-terrorist protesters. And this is a huge problem to Israel, to United States, and to all the Western world.
You know that you've seen the polls. Some show 72% of Israelis want Netanyahu to resign. He has a 30% favorability rating. Many at home were carefully watching this speech. Where in that speech did Netanyahu take responsibility for the fact that the October 7th attack happened under his watch?
I will tell you something, Elizabeth. First of all, I'm not sure about the numbers. I think that we are seeing different numbers than your quote. But I will tell you something, and we talked just now about democracy. Israel is the biggest and the only democracy in the Middle East. And when the Knesset decided from time to time, to dissolve itself, that's what happened. And we are going, all of us, including me, and vote. Now, if it will happen in the next few months, I don't know. The next elections in Israel are supposed to be in the end of 2026. Why? Because it's once in 4 years. So, but if the majority of the MKs, and I used to serve my people in the Knesset from 2009 to 2024.
Right.
I actually have to tell you that if the majority will decide to do it, and to decide that there will be another a date to the general election in Israel, that's what will be.
You know, and I know, as everybody knows, it's been widely reported that many Israelis have been calling for another election, and nearly 2/3 of Israelis are unhappy and want a new prime minister. But I want to ask you about the hostages, because Netanyahu said in his speech he's confident there'll be a hostage deal soon. We just heard from the family of one of the American hostages who were very disappointed. They spoke out and said they wanted to hear more from Netanyahu. Many Israelis were unhappy he came here instead of stayed in the Middle East to work out a deal. What is happening with the hostage deal?
I will tell you, first of all, I voted for the previous deal during my days in the cabinet. And I think that the most important thing, actually, there's two goals to the war that actually the Hamas forced us. First of all, to defeat them, and second, and together, of course, to bring our people home, to their families, to their homeland. We are doing it. We are doing it, and I think that, you know, Elizabeth, I think that if we'll put more pressure on the Hamas, it will happen sooner than everybody thinks, and it will be, I think, a better deal to all the families, a much better deal if we continue to put our pressure on the Hamas.
Ofir Akunis, it's a heartbreaking scenario for these families who are desperate to get their loved ones home. It's been, you know, nearly a year since they were taken
No,
hostage.
I absolutely agree with you, Elizabeth. And I want to tell you that I'm speaking every day with their families, and I love them and I hug them, and I think that it will happen sooner than anybody thinks.
Thanks so much for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.